and weird.
Hey folks, this is Andrew. I'm having a meeting here with my wonderful business partner Donnell. It's cold here, so I got my awesome hoodie on. This thing keeps you so warm. And it's early in the morning, so I'm in my robe and stuff like that. But what I want to talk to y'all this morning about is about encouragement. Because that's the next evolution of my ministry. You see, encouragement is just something that can be just thrown at you. I can encourage you to do right or to do wrong. But what we're going to be encouraging you to do is to change your life, to change your circumstances. We're going to encourage you to do right to change your circumstances. Now, you can change your circumstances if you're having financial difficulty. You can change that right now by going and getting your gun out of your dresser drawer and going down to the Stop and Go and taking your risks, Old West style, try to get what's out of the cash register. And you might score a couple $100 or you might get shot in the process. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about changing the circumstances of your life, for your children's life, and from then on. For living your life in such a way that when you're having a business meeting, you can have on a hat with furry ears and your robe and sit next to the person that you love absolutely the most in the world, comfortable in your house. Now, in this thing that I'm talking about, I want to go over all the different biblical scriptures that talks about prosperity and how God wants to prosper you and not to harm you, that He has a plan for you, and His plans are to give you a hope and a future. But a lot of times, the only thing that the church will tell you is that plan has to be to give. You have to give, give, give. And it's true. God gave, we give. When we give in our tithes, God honors it. He opens up the windows and He pours out a blessing. His word says He'll pour out a blessing, that there's not room enough to receive it. But there's something else that you have to give. You have to give your faith. You have to give your hope in what the Lord has for you. And how is He going to do that? Now, there's a platform that I don't even know the smallest bit about right now. I've watched my wife doing studying on it, learning on it, and I didn't believe in it because there's been so many. I mean, we've done different deals like Melaleuca and kids' toys and all this stuff, and we've had in-homes, and oh my gosh, I'd get dressed up in a shirt and tie. I look like some kind of, I don't even know what, big old fat belly that I had in one picture. I need to have that flash right now on the video so you can see what I'm talking about. And we had minor success, but that's not where it's at. But with Empower Network, oh my gosh, I can't even look at myself with this on anymore. It's ridiculous looking. There's this deal called Empower Network. And with Empower Network, they teach you how to use the internet. It's like Alexander Graham Bell invented the phone, and somebody came along and they popped the phone in your house and they said, here's this new phone. And the people that were in there are like, what's it for? Well, that's for, Bob, who lives down about a quarter mile down. That's if his cow gets out. You might want to let, Bob know that his cow's out. And the guy back then would say, psh, if I want to let Bob know his cow's out, I'll walk down there and tell him myself. Well, we've got these computers sitting in our house, and we've heard of Flickr and Facebook and everything else.
Twitter.
Oh, Flickr's for pictures. Twitter, thank you, there's my helper. Twitter and everything else, and we don't know how to connect them. Most of us pick up Facebook, and it's excellent for taking pictures of our food. But it doesn't have anything to do with God's plan to prosper us. Now that's the difference. That's what I want to learn. I'm going to watch the videos. It costs $25 to become a member of Empower Network, and with that you get so much training and so much education And it's like going to school. I've watched my wife for weeks sitting in front of the computer with a notebook taking notes. And by God, she knows what she's talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hearing my voice right now. So I know that she's going to put this video onto a page that's going to have somewhere that you can click so that you can get empowered, so that you can start getting that power of God in your life so that your message can get out. And by getting that message out, you're going to earn. And we're going to earn money together. And we're going to be on the beaches of the world. Costa Rica, here I come. I've already envisioned one of my houses. I know it's going to have an infinity pool. I can already see the jacuzzi in the main room. It's going to be an open concept with kitchen and a TV that comes up out of the floor, and the whole couch is going to be in a circular pattern that's going to just have a vista of a mountain. I can envision it because it's there, because God has it for me. And God has that for you too. Now the only difference is that you have to act. We can sit on our butt in our circumstances that we're in right now and expect different results. We can keep on going and punching the clock, and every week or 2 weeks you're going to get that same dreary little $600 paycheck, or maybe if you're lucky you're getting maybe close to $2,000, and you got some jackass that's at your place that's chewing your ass out because you're not 15 minutes earlier than you should be, or God forbid you're late. We're going to change those circumstances. We're going to get to a point in our lives where we can wake up in the morning and greet God with prayer and say, Lord, what do you have for me to do today? And on some of those days, you might be in front of the computer studying and learning from people who've already done it. People who are making $30,000 a month, $200,000 a month. You'll be the one standing there and saying, 9 months ago, I was sitting in my house and something snapped, and now I've got $2.5 million in the bank. And we all know it's not about money, but let me tell you something. Money makes it a little easier in life sometimes. So this message comes to you from the fucking preacher who doesn't really have a fucking clue right now about SEOs or hooking up to the internet or getting all the things lined up. But I know what my message is because I hear from God. And God is telling me that it's time to empower you. By me empowering you, I'm going to be empowered. We're going to be empowered together. That's what the true church is. Because in my church, we don't pass the plate. I don't want your money. I don't want to. I used to feel so uncomfortable. We just went to a new church the other day. Another church that messed up. We went twice. And on the second day, they had like a little special get together for the kids. So like, that'll be nice. My 12-year-old will be able to go and hang out with some young girls. I drive over and trust these people. Beautiful house, giant house. I trust them with my little girl. They got the pizza and all. They've got an hour and a half to hang out with my child and have home church. She gets in the car when I pick her back up, and she goes, I said, so how was it? It's all right. Well, how were the people? They're all right. I'm like, okay. Turn the stereo up. Drive home. What'd they teach on? This stuff about God, you know. All right. Get home. I knew something was weird. Later that night, after we give kisses to our babies and tuck them in, my wife comes in and says, do you know, did they tell you that they were going to teach sex education there tonight? I'm like, what? Yeah, first night, and they're talking about, oh my gosh, getting down on homosexuals and just, you can't even imagine. You take your children, you entrust them to somebody else, you just drop them off. And then when they come home with some kind of screwed up hate teaching stuff that they came up with on the spot while eating pizza, and you're like, but that's not what my church is about. That same church that I went to, you go in and they're like, if you're a visitor, we're so glad you're here. You feel no need to put anything into the hat when it gets passed. That's just for our regular members to support our many services. And here comes this lady down the aisle and hands you this little wooden thing with this really, I mean, they're really pretty little wooden circle with the velvet bag. And you kind of expect like a rabbit or something to come out. If you reach in there, you might be able to find like some balls and pull them out, or like some, I don't know what, ta-da, but they stick it in your lap and you're supposed to put some dollars in it or change. That's not what we do at our ministry. I'm not going to pass a plate in front of you ever. If you want to sow seed into the ministry, that's biblical. You do it. I guess somehow you'll find my address and send us a check. But I'd rather for you to use your money to learn how to multiply your money so that you can be more and more successful, have more and more money, and then you can bless who you need to bless. Just in the same way that we did the other day. We made blankets with one of our wonderful Christian friends and took them down to the Ronald McDonald House. That was another thing that God did. When we got there, we made the blankets in August. About 40 blankets, real soft, no sharp edges, because the Ronald McDonald House, most of their patients are burn victims. We had them all done in July, and I had them in bags, and I had them all over the house. They went in the closet. They went in that closet, the one with the Christmas tree on it. They went into the garage. They were wrapped in plastic bags. Finally, it started getting this cold snap here, and I folded them up and I put them in the Jeep, and my wife and my children and I went down there and brought them to the Ronald McDonald House. And they were so happy because they had only 2 blankets left. It was the right time. It was God's timing. And the little boy that I gave the blanket to that was there had his face was completely scarred with burns, and hopefully we can put a picture in. I could tell he was smiling, but it looked like it kind of hurt to smile. But his mother was smiling, and hopefully it's warm on his skin. That's the kind of empowering that I want to be able to happen for you. That's what God wants for you to be able to do, for you to give and sow seed back into the community where it needs to be. Just like the guy Dave, oh my gosh, they give so much, $10,000, $20,000 to different causes. How would you like to be able to give a check for 20 grand? Write a check for $100,000. It's possible. It's going to happen. Envision it. Envision your checkbook not being down to the wire every month because you're picking up that crummy little check from that job that's so hard to get to in the morning because you've listened to a few videos and you've learned how to use the telephone that is a computer that's sitting either in your hand, in your portable phone, or on your desk. And it's no longer a mystery that you're picking up the phone and let's say an operator connected me to Birch Bath 502 so you can call your friend down the street. Hey man, your cow is loose in the yard. Well, how'd you tell me? I'm on the newfangled phone. We're turning into our parents, people. Technology is passing us by. And if we don't learn how to use it, then somebody else will. And they'll be making the money. And we'll be standing in the unemployment line. But the great news is this. The information's right there and it's not expensive. And you can get into it. And I'm going to help you learn how. And we're going to be empowered together. By God, we're going to be empowered together. Through God, we'll be empowered together. All right? And no bullshit, just the facts. So this is the fucking preacher. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Bye.